it's Leslie here from Learnersaurus, and today I'm so excited to have Marion, the Executive Officer from Speld Queensland, having a chat today about our new Discover Literacy book, which we are very excited to be able to launch out there and make available to everyone. So Marion, I'm sure you've got a million questions about how this new book's going to work and what we can do to support all those people that do call you for help and that we hear from regularly that have those learning difficulties, and reading is such a challenge for them. So far away.
Well, you know that we already use your great service at Speld, and Learnersaurus people are absolutely excited and delighted to work with your coaches. So why did you create another book?
Well, Marion, we saw for a very long time the Learnersaurus, the intensive program where families come in and work with a coach, has been running now for probably close to 10 years. And it is incredibly successful, as you said, and we see the results in our families within that 12-month period, which is just what we want. But what we're finding is that we do get inquiries from people regularly who, for various reasons, can't access that time with a coach. So maybe finances are an issue for them, so paying that regular weekly fee with a tutor is not an option. Perhaps their location is they're not close enough to a coach who they can work with. We've got our video link. The COVID virus has certainly made us adjust and get that happening, so that's definitely going to make our coaches more accessible to a wider audience. But the other thing is, sometimes for parents it's just not practical to be able to take their child to see a coach through the day if they're working, or if one parent's working or the other parent's unable to pick up the child from school. So there's a number of reasons, and we're very concerned that there are many people who need that support who just aren't getting it. So what we tried to do was to put our program in a different format so that the work that the parent or the supporter person who will support them has everything they need here that they can work through in very explicit terms to support their child to read. Working with a coach is always the golden model, but this does give a parent or a support person something that they can use as a very explicit structured guide to teaching reading.
So we know that a lot of the parents and a lot of the people who work with these children also may have a learning difference. Mm-hmm. So what training or what specific skills would they need to implement this program with those students?
So if the parent is able to read themselves to a basic standard of reading, then they will be able to follow the guidelines in this book to be able to work page by page as they go through. You'll be able to see in the book, just on any of the sessions that we've got there, it shows us a very succinct, careful step-by-step. I mean, I've just opened up here randomly on page 44 where we're looking at the letter E and we're working through with that step-by-step approach. So if the parent is able to follow that very simple process, then we should be seeing some results. We do have, on our website, we have 3 different training levels. So they're online training programs. So the first level is what we call the 26 letters, and that's fantastic. So if a parent's taking on this book, then I would suggest they definitely go on and have a look at that 26 letters training. The second thing is the introduction to literacy and dyslexia. And I think anybody who's working with a child at home, or a teacher at a school, or an adult who may have learning difficulties, that online training, it's a 4-hour course, is absolutely crucial to understand why things are presented the way they are in the book, and how you would need to, the methodologies required to work with a learner.
So at Speld, we are very pedantic that we use evidence-based and research-based programs. Yeah. So what's the evidence and what's the research that you've based Learnersaurus on?
Okay, so the Learnersaurus program is based on my learnings through the University of York and what was called Dyslexia Action, still is called Dyslexia Action, and they have developed and evolved a program that was started back by Kathleen Hickey, who was one of the key researchers at the time, who worked with the Orton and Gillingham programs in the States. So it was sort of, all of that research came into what was called the Dyslexia Institute. And from there, the programs have evolved by using them with the learners who had dyslexia. So Orton and Gillingham research and methodologies are by far the most recognised methods in working with learners with dyslexia. So it's a multi-sensory structured language program. MSL is the what you would hear the terms out there, and based on the work of Orton and Gillingham.
Okay. And that's really good that you brought up that MSL, the multi-sensory approach, because there are many, many programs.
Absolutely.
And just one program is not always the one
No,
response that people should have.
as long as it has that methodology involved in the program, and the multisensory side of it is making sure that we're using all of those different channels to enhance the learning and consolidate the learning. So we're using that, reading is a multisensory process. So to get all those connections happening in the brain, we need to reinforce them in a multisensory way. But the structured language part is the key to that reading science, so that we're seeing that the language, the way that reading is taught is the way that our language is structured. So we're working through that cumulative approach. That's just absolutely essential for any reading program. I think one of the quotes that I love to go back and look at constantly is from Hal Moko, who was the president of the International Dyslexia Association for a very long time, and his quote is that the way that we teach dyslexic learners to read is the way that we should teach all learners to read, because it's about the way our language is structured, and it's not just pulling bits from here and here and here and here and seeing what might stick. It's making sure that the way we learn to read is through that very specific structure. So that's what it's being built on.
So we often have reading programs that are particularly designed for little children in grade 1 and 2 and prep.
Yeah.
Is this program applicable to all ages?
So from age 7 onwards. So one of the things with our Learnersaurus programs is that we don't try to conquer every aspect of literacy learning. We focus on what is the crucial part of learning to read. So often we'll find that parents will come to us and say, oh look, they're using a program at school and it looks a bit similar, but my child has been doing it for 6 months and we've not seen any difference. And often the reason for that is a lot of programs come in, if we look at the structure of language from here to here, often they come in about here. Whereas we come in here and we establish those crucial elements around phonological knowledge, around the alphabet knowledge, and making sure that those things are all solid, the 26 letters of the alphabet are automatic, then we can go ahead and learn those other things. So if an adult comes in as a struggling reader, and I've worked with adults over the years who, one gentleman comes to mind, he was in his 50s, and he was barely able to read the most basic piece of information. So by starting them here, by starting any reader at this level and following these really crucial steps, then we can engage in the more advanced levels as we go along. So anybody from over the age of 7 can access this.
I think that's a really, really helpful indicator of your program, because you know the statistic that lots and lots of people fall through the net.
Absolutely.
20% of people have a learning difference, but sadly, there's 80% of our prisoners who have a learning difference. So if we can capture those people, even if they're in their teens or early 20s, we can give them the language skills and the literacy skills, and then hopefully give them some building blocks to move forward.
Well, it's a human right, isn't it, to be able to read at a basic level, and we don't need to be setting our goals as saying that we're going to have these highly literate people who are able to write their own novels. That's not what we're aiming for here. We're aiming to get a basic level of literacy that gives them the skills to access what they need to in this world. And my heart is just goes out to these teenagers who slip through the primary school system. They hit high school and there's nothing, because the expectation is you've come in at this level, your reading should be at this level. Whereas those children need to come back to something like this to establish that basic level. They've missed it.
So it seems like this is a pretty well-rounded and highly sought-after resource.
Yes.
So I'm gathering that it's going to be very expensive, and I'm gathering that it's going to be very hard to obtain.
Well, we've done our best to make it accessible for everybody or anybody who needs it.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of it is $55 retail price.
It's very cheap.
And, well, for what's in it, there's a lot in there. The other thing that I want to say too when we talked about our coaches, this book can work hand in hand with our coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's available through learnersaurus.com, of course, on our website, but it's also available through Speld Queensland.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be, and there's a donation with each book that's purchased through Speld Queensland that will go back to assist you. Yes. So I think, and our coaches are able to use it with their students. So if we have a student that is has been through 1 or 2 or 3 of the really intensive workbooks, but still finding it hard to, or maybe needing just that little bit of extra repetition around some of the concepts, then this is an opportunity to go back and revisit in a different format. Sometimes we have families that might have started the Learnersaurus program with a coach, and then life gets in the way and they can't continue. Here's an opportunity to come back, reset, and go through and complete the program. And our coaches are available. You don't have to work with the coach every week. If you decide to start on this book, get through a couple of the the sessions, and you suddenly realise, oh gee, I'm feeling a bit stuck, or I'm not sure if I'm on the right track. Contact one of our trained coaches, and they can give you what you need to make sure that you're going well with it. So you can have those constant, visits randomly with our coaches if you need to. They're all the coaches who are trained are on the website, who are available to work with you.
I think that's amazing. So it's not a commercial product, it's something that can be used by families, for families, in their home, as a supplement.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward.
It's clearly, I think on the website you'll see that it's clearly designed not for commercial use. Mm-hmm. So if there are people there, tutors or other people out there who would like to use the program in their commercial situation, I know we have a number of speechies that work with us, speech pathologists who work with us and are trained. Give us a call. We'd love to get you on board, but we need you to do the training and get a license to use it commercially. But teachers, learning support teachers, fantastic tool for you in the schools. This is something that I'm very excited about. We've had a couple of the teachers and schools that we work with have been in touch, and they're very ready to go. They've got buying one for each child that they're working in their upper years. So it's got lots of possibilities.
Well, COVID lockdown's just about finished. We're back into school, so if I can have a little bundle to take to my next school, that would be great.
Absolutely,
I think it's an amazing resource.
We're very excited to have Speld involved and making that difference and supporting Speld as we go. So,
great. Congratulations.
Thank you, Marion. Thanks very much.